Hello and welcome back to RG Classroom. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Jack. How you doing?
I'm good. You all right?
Yeah, good. I went shirt and tie today. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm already teaching up.
Yes, I forgot rolling up the sleeves like a teacher. I love that.
Loosen off. It's been a stressful day.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. We're
I'm
good?
ready. Ready when you are.
Okay, so firstly, thank you to everyone that tuned in and watched last week's episode, our first ever episode, the First Time Buyers episode 1. And thanks for all the feedback we had as well. Mike and I received lots of emails. We had some inbox messages on Instagram and Facebook, which was really good. And the views on YouTube were great as well. So thank you to everyone that went over to our channel to actually have a look at it on there. So firstly, just want to start with that. Thank you so much. And if we can do the same again this week, anyone watching, give us some feedback. We'd really like to know that you guys are enjoying it. It's going the right way. So thank you.
Absolutely, yeah. So as I say, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Inside RG on YouTube. So yeah, it's just to mirror what Jack said. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And welcome to episode 2.
Episode 2, yes. So Mike, run through with us what we're doing on episode 2, what people are going to expect from this episode.
Absolutely. So yeah, tricky second series or second episode we've got now. So we thought we did the first time buyer process in episode 1. So episode 2, we thought we would do the actual selling of your home process. So that moment you decide, you know what, we've had enough of our current home. We need somewhere bigger. We've got kids coming. I've met a new partner. All sorts of reasons people decide to sell. And it can be really daunting, a bit like buying a place. So we thought we would take that daunting part out of it and explain how we go about the process of getting your house ready to sell, how you would go about selling with Roland Gorringe, just to take, I guess, the worry and the stress out of it, as we always try and do at Roland Gorringe. So that's episode 2, selling your house.
Awesome. And we broke it down again, guys, the same as we did last week with the first time buyer episode, into little bite-sized chunks to walk you through that process, how we start and how we end up eventually end up selling your home, but how you go about choosing that and the journey that you go on. And we're focusing on what you do as a whole, but actually what Mike and I do with you at Roland Gorringe. So we're basing it on us, as agents and you coming on the market with us. Again, if there's anything in here that you want us to build upon or tell you more about, please do let us know. We are going live on Instagram as well. This is our full episode that you can watch over and over again, because I'm sure you'll want to do that. But we will be going live with little bite-sized chunks of what we're talking about today. So to kick it off, then, I think the most important thing, and I'll be totally honest with you. When Mike and I were looking at this, my first point was deciding on an agent, but Mike very rightly corrected me. It's actually deciding to sell your home, because that's a huge thing, as we all know. So, Mike, talk us through what made you start at that point, I guess.
Yeah, for me, we talk to loads and loads of people, and it's a massive step to actually sort of decide, look around your house and realise the place you've loved. Like I said earlier, it could be too small. You might have met a new partner. You might have, like me, a rapidly growing family, and more and more kids and tortoises turning up and what have you. So you may be looking at getting a bigger house. There are so many reasons, and it's a huge step. And I think I wanted to explain that we at Roland Gorringe, especially Jack and I, we really understand how big a step that is. And it's not just a flippant, easy thing to go, yeah, I'm going to sell my house now. So we are very much on your side from that first moment where you go, oh my God, I'm going to sell my house. This is it. Right through to the end where we've sold it and we complete. So I say I guess we just wanted to say in that first quick section, we understand how huge it is, that decision to sell your house, and we are on your side.
Yeah, and everyone's situations are different. It could be that, as Mike says, your family's growing and it's a really exciting time, or it could be a really, really, really difficult move. I know my parents did this, which is the downsize move. So you go from your family home that you've lived in for 30 or 40 years to then looking at something and making your whole world that you know and have known for years so much smaller. And that's a really tricky one. On the way up, it's so exciting in every stage you go, but actually coming down, or lots of different reasons. So we, as Mike says, we do relate to all of those. And
importantly, sorry to interrupt, Jack. As Jack just said there, he's had experience in his family. I've had experiences, where we've had grandparents pass on, sadly, and had to sell their properties.
Yeah.
Jack and I, in our personal lives, but also in our work lives, really have seen it and done it all. Especially, as you all know, we've got Adrian, our branch manager, who's been an estate agent for 118 years now. He certainly has seen it all.
120.
120, is it now?
No, 119. 119. Yeah.
119. Sorry. So he really has seen it all. So we understand, we really do. And you know, with us, you've got a lot of experience between the three of us to help with that stage.
Yeah, and Kim too. So that brings us on to, and also it's knowing when that right time is, because you might be looking through Rightmove or on Roland Gorringe on the website, or watching one of Mike's video tours and think, oh, I really want to buy that house, and you don't know whether to put your house on the market first or later or what to do. So we're going to come to that. So the next point that we're going on to is deciding on an agent, and this is really tricky because there's at least, I mean, in Uckfield alone, there's 759 of us. So. And actually thinking, okay, which agent am I going to go into? And I think it's a case of actually going into lots of agents, and I think getting the feel for the right one. So I know certainly when I first walked into an estate agent for the first ever time, I'll never forget it. And it was before I was an agent, it was when I was actually looking for a rental property. And I was absolutely terrified. I was so nervous. No one got out of their chair. No one made me feel welcome. And it was really daunting. And I think it's just, you know, you're going in to do something really big and something that you might not know much about. I mean, you might have bought before, but actually never sold. And it's a scary, scary procedure. And you want to make sure you're in comfortable hands. And I think that the key thing to think about is how your buyer will feel when they go in and inquire about properties. And that's the kind of feel that you want to kind of go in there with a buyer's hat on to think, how are they going to make my buyer feel? I think that's really, really important. So kind of get what kind of vibe you get. Do you feel welcome? Do you feel comfortable? Are they asking lots and lots of questions? Because all those things are really important, Mike. I think you'll agree.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. How and that agent makes you feel is huge, and the key is to be really, you're looking for an agent who's going to be really welcoming to you, and then you know they'll be really welcoming to people coming into your house. But as Jack said there, asking lots of questions, bombard. When you come and see Jack and I, and you hopefully book a valuation in the future, come and bombard us with as much information about you, your family, and your house as or bungalow or flat or property as possible. Give us as much. We want to hear everything. Don't think that you're boring us, because you're not. Episode 1, we told you we're big property nerds. We want to hear it all, and the more information you give us, the better and clearer evaluation we can give on your property, and the best advice we can give. So definitely in that initial first, when you're booking your valuation with any agent, but especially us, please give us as much information as you can. Take your time, and we will just listen and scribble notes as you do so.
Yeah, I think that's really really important. So then once we'll fire lots and lots of questions at you, and hopefully you'll give us as much information as you can, as Mike says. And then after that point, we then find a convenient time that's going to suit you. We're coming on now to the sort of confirmation of the appointment. So we want to fit around your lifestyle. So Mike and I, at Roland Gorringe, we are very, very aware that people lead very busy lifestyles, and you might work the same hours as us. So how are we going to get around that? We're happy to come out really early in the morning. We're happy to come out when the children are at school. We're happy to come out late in the evening. Whatever works for you is really important, because you don't want to feel rushed. You don't want the children running about while you're trying to pay attention to an agent and what they're telling you. So again, think that through before you go in, and before you come and see us at Roland Gorringe. Think through what kind of times work for you, and we can work around that, because that's got to work. It's a crazy busy life that we live in, world that we live in. Sorry, and it's got to be right. So timing is key as well. So have that in your mind when you're thinking about selling, about what sort of time you want us to come out, because we can fit in around you.
The key there is as well, we've got 3 very experienced valuers, say Adrian, 119 years, Jack and I as well, and one of us is in, at least one of us, Monday to Saturday, so we can do valuations on a Saturday as well. So yeah, just to jump in on your point there, Jack. Sorry. Yeah,
thanks, Mike. Sorry. Yeah, no, that's a really, really important point. So yeah, confirming that appointment, that's the next stage. So we do that. Obviously, if you're ringing up on the phone, we'll speak to you on the phone. If you're in the office in person, we'll tell you then. You'll obviously go away meeting all of us in the office. If we're all there and we're not out on appointments. Failing that, you'll go away with some business cards. We'll also email you confirmation of that appointment, and Mike and I will send a letter out as well to confirm when we're coming. Obviously, if we're coming out that afternoon, which we can do, same day evaluations, if that's something that works for you. But if it is something that's booked in advance, we will just send a letter out just to confirm that appointment as well, just as a reminder. Then on the day, we'll give you a call in the morning just to confirm that time's still good for you. And I think that's the important important one, because this is coming on now to the actual day of the right. So the day itself, so the valuation day. So this is the day that we actually come out. We're physically coming through your door, and we're going to come and have a look around, and we're going to talk about all the dreamy stuff that we talk about. So I think this part of you as a seller, this gets a little bit tricky, because you kind of get to the point where you overthink things about, have I done all the washing? Is the house clean? Have I emptied the dishwasher? Don't overthink things like that, because we see all kinds of houses at all times of day, and we know that people live, you know, busy lifestyles. So don't stress too much. It's not, and we'll give you advice on the day about how should be presented and stuff like that. But for our visit, please don't overthink that at all. And that's one thing to do, Mike, isn't it?
Oh, very much so. You should see the state of my house. So we certainly will not judge. So no, we're there to see the bones of the property and get to know you. So, you know, if there are bits and pieces you're finishing off before you sell, you might be painting the bathroom or you know, doing whatever, you know, don't panic. We can see past various bits and pieces. We won't need to go and see inside your wardrobes or anything like that. So you're completely safe on that front.
Yeah. So that's an important thing. So and again, you know, you might be having more than one agent out. It's quite common. You know, that happens a lot. So I think that's another important thing. When you set that time, it's really crucial that the agent arrives at the time that he said or she said that they're going to arrive. It's really, really important that. So we always try to get there a little bit early. Mike and I, and Adrian as well, we know the area really, really well in Uckfield, but actually it's quite nice to sometimes get to an area. I know Mike and I do the same thing. We normally park a little bit along the road and we walk down and just get a feel for the road, because all those things are really important when you're looking at putting a price on a house. And it's important to kind of get yourself in that frame of mind as well. You know, how much parking is there? Is it a busy area? As I say, we do know the area very well, but it's always nice to kind of get that feel. So we always get there a little bit early, kind of approach the house slowly, you know, gathering our thoughts as we get to your front door. So that's another thing. So don't worry again about moving the cars off the driveway. We can find parking. It's fine. That's a really important one. No people stress out about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then once we're there, so Jack and I, a lot of the time, we'll go to valuations together. So you kind of get two brains for the price of one, I guess, or two heads are better than one. So we'll come along together and value the property. Are you still with us, Jack?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening. Oh, your voice is so soothing. Like, no. I was just doing the robot.
You're completely frozen on my screen.
Oh, I'm still here.
Is it your Wi-Fi today rather than mine?
I don't know. It feels like good. Yours feels good too.
Yeah, I mean, you are, mate. You are completely frozen, my friend.
Am I?
Yeah.
But you can hear me.
I can hear you loud and clear. Oh, here we go. You're coming back. It's saying, there you go. You're back.
I'm back. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Jack.
Okay. Sorry, so, where were we?
That's right. So when we arrive, as I say, Jack and I will come and do a lot of the valuations together. We like a two heads are better than one approach, or two brains are better than one approach. But if we come individually, what we want to do, there is no formal approach to the way we work, and I mean that in a good way. We will very much let the appointment flow quite nicely and get to know you. There's no time limit up with us. Both Jack and I have worked at agencies before where our valuations have to be an hour and you can't go over an hour. It's very different Roland Gorringe. We, as I say, we want to take our time and make sure we get the valuation right. So first things first, when we come in, is we'll sit down and have a chat with you, get to know you a bit more, get to know. Most important question for us is what you're planning on doing next, and if we'll be able to help with that. And again, that might influence slightly how we market the property in terms of valuation as well. If you are just going to go into rented and make yourself chain free, well, we might be able to be a bit more bullish with the price. If you found your dream home already and you need to get sold quickly, again, that may influence how we value. So that's really important in terms of actually having a chat and getting to know each other. Once we've done that, it's our favourite part, which is where you give us a tour. So Jack will take us on that bit.
Yeah, so that's the really important thing. So now, as Mike says, we've got in our minds what you guys are doing and what your plans are, and then it's actually being taught. And don't overthink this tour. It's not like you're conducting a viewing with us, guys. It's very much just showing us the house. This is the part where Mike and I take down as many notes as we can. We really want to hear about what work you've done in the house, what changes you've made in the time you've been there, your favourite parts as well. I think that's a really important thing. What attracted you to the home? So, you know, if the kitchen is your heart of your home, which it commonly is in all of our houses, what part of the house do you love? Because they're all selling points that we want to highlight as well. No one knows your home better than you do, and you might have lived there, as we say, for 40 years. We're certainly not going to get that in an hour or an hour and a half of being with you. So we kind of take notes. So it's important to go from room to room. I typically, and I know Mike does, we like to start back at the front door and start the tour from the porch or the door or whatever, and start it as you go through reception rooms into the kitchen, and however the layout of the house is. But just kind of focusing on each room, talking about that room, what you've done, what changes you've done. If there's any problems, obviously do highlight those to us if there are any issues in the house. And we kind of take our time as we go through and just take lots and lots of notes, and everything you sort of shout at us we'll write down, because they're important things to know. So don't overthink the way that the tour goes or what you need to tell us. Just be very honest with us. It's really key that you are, and all those things really help us. Then, I mean, depending on the property, you might not have a garden, but typically it's quite nice to sort of, as an agent, to kind of gather your thoughts after all of that, because you would have taken down a lot of information in a short space of time. And I know typically I like to sort of just have a moment just to gather my thoughts, think about what's been said, go through my notes, before then sitting down and having our sort of final chat, when we sort of talk about us a little bit more, and what we can do and how we can help you. So that comes on to the kind of, what we do section, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, starting with the valuation itself, this is very much not a case of us sticking our fingers in the air and hoping for the best. We do a lot of pre-research before we come out. We know the area, as Jack said. All jokes aside, Adrian has been branch manager of the Uckfield Rolling Orange office for 19 years. He has seen it, done it, been inside every type of property all over Uckfield. So it gives us a really good feel, and we can tap into that information. Jack and I have got a lot of experience as well, so that when we come and see you, we've already got an idea of price. But then as we've gone round, we can build into our sort of figures all those things you've done. You know, if you've added a conservatory or had all the electrics modernised, a new boiler, all those sort of things sort of add up. So we'll sit down with you and obviously, most importantly, present the price and what we think. And the price is very much, at Rolling Orange, we go all out on honesty. We are not going to tell you it's 20 grand more to flatter you and get you to sign that contract. We want to be honest with you over actually what we think that house or your property is going to sell for, because that's what you need from us. No point in telling you the pie in the eye figures. We want to give you that stone cast. This is what we think we're going to get for you. So we'll do that first, and we'll get those figures out there, and we'll have a very open discussion. Jack,
on that point, Mike, on that point, I just wanted to say, you know, as Mike says, we definitely don't want to flatter you. That is a really key thing. And sorry to rudely interrupt you there, Mike. I think the other thing that sometimes can happen as a seller of a home, and we touched on this in the first time buyer episode, where we said about doing a bit of research on what you might be buying at and what that house sold at, etc. So sometimes, you know, of course, I imagine that probably 90% of people that get to this point have an idea of what their house is worth. You know what prices are selling, you know what houses are selling for in the area, so you've got a bit of a handle on it. But I think don't get too, don't forget, you have invited us around for a reason, and our reason is to give you honest, truthful advice and back that up with evidence, comparable evidence, which we will do. But I think sometimes if you get, so fixated on a figure that you think your house is worth without having us around and not speaking to us, that's a really difficult one, because you might end up feeling, let's say, for example, you think your house is worth £300,000. We get there and we say, well, actually, no, look, we've got comparable evidence to show that it's worth 275. You're immediately going to feel deflated straight away. But it might be that your house was never worth that amount. So I think that's really key to kind of don't, of course, do your research. It's great if you do. And if you do have a real handle on what it's worth and we don't come in at that figure, challenge us, please do. We're really open to that kind of conversation. But I think it's really key to not get too into that kind of thing, because, as I say, you're there to, we're there, to give you the figures and to talk that through with you. So that's a sorry, Mike, to interrupt, but that's a key thing as well, is to not sort of get too carried away.
Not at all. And that conversation is definitely not closed. That is not us saying your house is worth X. That is black and white. We want to have a very open conversation. So as Jack said, challenge us on it. We'll challenge you and hopefully come to a figure where we both agree, and then we can launch with the marketing on that side. Once you've got the value, important question, next question is really is how do you pick your agent? A common question I get all the time, or a common comment, is all you agents are exactly the same. You all advertise on the same portal. So what makes you different to every other single agent? So Jack, I guess I'm going to challenge you now, really, and say, what makes Roland Gorringe different to every single other 752 agents on the high street in Uckfield? What do we do, and why would a client sort of pick us, I guess?
Yeah, I think the first thing is my patience levels. I have to work with Mike every day. I sit next to him. That is not an easy thing. And I think, sometimes it can be a challenging process. We said this last week, when you're buying, same when you're selling, it can be challenging. I have to work with Mike every day. I just need to take that in for a moment. Just going to pause there. Yeah. So no, in all honesty, no, not at all. Mike is an absolute pleasure and a very good friend of mine. No, I think that's and actually that's really important. I think our relationship as agents in our office, we are all friends. We really are. All of us, we get on really, really well. As Mike said, before we come out and see you, we discuss, what we're coming out to see. We all put our heads together. So that whole process helps when you're a really close-knit team. So I think that is probably a really good thing to start with. The really professional guys in our lettings department as well, we all get on so well, and that is a really key thing when you all work together. And I think that longevity of that relationship is really key. So you're not going to walk through the door and Mike and I are not going to be there. You'll recognise everyone that's there. Some agents, people do leave and move on, whereas at Roland Gorringe, we've been there for almost 100 years. Not me, Adrian has, and Mike hasn't. But but we've been there a long time. And as Mike says, we've got a manager at the helm that's been there for almost 20 years with all that experience, that's been in that office for that length of time. So that's a really key one, I think. I think also just the honesty thing. I think touching on that, if you've seen our videos on YouTube on our Inside RG channel, you'll see the Meet the Team page. If you have a chance to have a look at that, please do go over and have a look, and you kind of get a feel for who we are as people. And I think the one thing that absolutely everyone mentions is that they're honest and trustworthy. I think almost every person in the team says that, and absolutely we really are. So I think and once you get to know us, and if anyone that's watching this has sold through us before or bought through us, they'll already know that what we say we're going to do, we do, and that's a really important thing. We do back everything up that we say we're going to do. So there are a couple of the things.
Hey, I'm convinced. I'm already convinced, definitely.
But it does sound. It does, but I think that's the really important thing. And as Mike says, it's having we've all been doing this job, for many years. We've not just come into this and been doing the job for a year and we're coming out and valuing your home, because we wouldn't have the experience to tell you what we need to tell you. So I think everyone's got a huge amount of experience, and that again is a really key thing, because you want to kind of know that you're seeing someone. I mean, I know when I first started in agency, which was around about 8 years ago, I was very, very young, and turning up at someone's house. I wasn't a homeowner, and I was fresh-faced and didn't really know, because you're starting off, you're in that training stage. So I think it's nice that you can get the confidence from everyone in our office, that everyone knows what they're talking about. They're not just telling you something or feeding you a line. And agents have this real stigma of not being trustworthy, not being honest, and hopefully at Roland Gorringe. And that's the reason for us doing these things, is to really break that down, because certainly agents are not like that, and we're not at all. We're really not.
So I guess then, I mean, that sounds convincing to me, but I would say that I guess I'm biased. So the client has chosen, they've liked what we've said about value, they've liked what we've said about us and how we work. What would be the next stage then, Jack? So they've signed up with us, they've chosen us, we've agreed on a fee, we agreed on everything. Let's talk about the marketing side of things, so people know how their house will be marketed in that process.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a key thing for me and Mike. So I'm gonna take this moment to say that we've both got business and marketing degrees. Yes. So we love this bit. We absolutely love this bit. So Mike and I, as you can see from these videos, are passionate about marketing. We love it. Roland Gorringe is an amazing company and a really, really strong brand. So, and we've got a real good backing for what we do next. And that's where we really come into all the stuff we spoke about so far. Amazing. And hopefully we're great at that and you're happy. But this marketing part is exceptional. And that's not just because of our video tool, although they're very good. But so there's a whole bunch of things. So again, we work around your timescales and how, when you want to go to the market. We'll make comments on when we think would be the right time for you. And everyone is very different. But for your situation, we make comments on when we think you should do that. So it's about the timing. Once we've set a time, the next thing that we do is we need to make sure that you're getting the whole package. And by that, we mean an energy performance certificate. So that is commonly called an EPC, which is a government requirement. You must have one of these. If you've not sold your house in a few years, you'll remember HIPs, home information packs. They were a requirement at the time. It's now an energy performance certificate. That's something that carries out the energy efficiency of a home, and you must have that done. So we'll arrange that.
Sorry to interrupt, Jack. Most agents we know charge sort of £70 to £100 for that. How much does Redland Grange charge?
It's I don't charge anything. It's free.
No, it's free. Correct.
It's free, Mike.
Free.
So yes, we get that done. That's a really important thing. And another thing to bear in mind with that, it lasts on your home for 10 years. So it lasts with your home. It doesn't go with you as a person, but with a house for 10 years. So once you've got that done, it's really good to get that done, because that's a box ticked, if you like, and you have to have it done for the marketing of your house, and especially when you come to sell too. So once that's done, the next important thing, which is very, very important, is a floor plan. It's really key for any buyer that's looking at your house to kind of have an idea of what they're coming to. You know, if you're looking at properties and you live far away in London or the suburbs where lots of people move to Arkfield from, it's really key that they can see those room sizes and really visualize what they're coming to have a look at. So that's, again, our floor plans, and please do have a look on our website and on Rightmove, Zoopla, On the Market and Prime Location. Do have a look on there at our floor plan examples, because they're great. They're really clear, they're really crisp, and they're all done by a professional as well, I should say. So we've got a chap that Mike and I are a huge fan of, Robert, who is a very professional photographer, energy assessor, and he'll carry out the floor plan as well for you. And he's got bundles and bags of experience. He's very good looking and charming, much like Mike. Yeah,
he's Welsh though, isn't he? He is Welsh though. Don't forget, we should mention that to the viewers, just to warn them. You won't understand a word he says. We know.
But he's a really, really great guy, and he comes out and does all of this. So again, about that time efficiency thing, that's all factored in, you know. So Rob will come out and do the whole thing in one hit, and there's no charge for that at all. Even for Rob just spending some time with you, maybe having a cup of tea, it's all free. So yeah, that's that kind of process. So once we get all that, that's all then packaged up. Mike, talk us through what happens once we've got all that information. So the energy performance certificate, floor plan, we've taken our notes, and Rob's carried out the professional photography, which we should probably bang on a little bit more about the photography side of things, because Rob is very good, isn't he?
He is, yeah, no, absolutely. So, yeah, the Welsh Max Beasley, as we call him, and if you've met him, you'll know what we mean by that. But he's fantastic. So Rob is the sort of photographer who will take advice. He's not just going to march into your house, snap away and leave. He will take his time. He will listen to you. If you know that the sun beams through your living room, you know, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, he'll come out at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If you know the sun's on the front of the house, which is the front shot, so important, he will come out and he'll take advice from you so that we're getting the very best out of your property. Photos are huge. Most people look at photos first, then the floor plan, then read the write-up. I'm certainly a floor plan kind of guy, then the photos, but that might just be because I'm an agent. So it's really important to get all those parts right. And I say Rob's fantastic, and an important point Jack made, all free of charge, that is. So he'll come and do your EPC, floor plan and photo. We pay for that. We get that all set up. We really believe on getting the marketing right, and which is why we wanted to give our clients the very best. So once we've got all those photos and we've got that floor plan, Jack and I will work together. We'll do your write-up for you. We'll put it all into a brochure. We do everything in-house. We don't outsource, so we can make changes nice and quickly. So once we've got all that, we'll send you the brochure, we'll send you the photos, and we'll work together with you. We really like to have the client's input at this point to put together that brochure, because you only get, it's the old saying, very cheesy, but you only get one chance at a first impression. And we want to make sure that when we go live across all those portals, we get it bang on straight away. So we'll work with you. We ask you to be very brutally honest. My grammar and spelling isn't the best. I have to admit. And so, you know, correct me, make the changes you want to make so that, as I say, we are completely right. So once we've got all that together and we've had an agreement with you and you're happy with the brochure, the photos and the way it's been presented, Jack and I will come and do our ant and deck bit and do the video tour. Jack, I'll hand back to you for the video tour, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say as well, actually, on that kind of blurb and the property description and the text part of it, I think, as Mike said at the beginning of this video, that we often will come out and see you together if that's something you're happy to have us out together. But Adrian, Mike, and I are all such different people. We all come from different walks of life. We're very different, and we all kind of, you know, if Mike comes out to property and I do, we'll both get a different feel for it. You know, we'll spot different things. I might miss something that Mike picks up on, or vice versa. So when we sit down and we do that description, we work on that together. It's not something that's just a kind of, you know, we sit there and we take our, you know, we look at our brief notes that we took. It is something that we really think about. So we'll write a list of kind of all of the things that we think are the key selling points. We'll go back to that time that we were on the valuation and you highlighted what you loved about it, and they're the things that we'll really tune in on. So again, it's really important to get that information right in there. But as Mike says, we you know, please have an input on that. No one knows your home better than you do, and we're very open to kind of, you know, playing around with that description, really. As Mike says, once that's done, we create your brochure, obviously, so all the text and everything will be on there. We send that out to you. You have a look at it all, make sure you're happy. Once that's done, then, and this is going back to our first time buyers episode last week, really key to be registered on our books, guys. I must mention that. So yes, so I think I've got a plane flying over my house there, quite low. Anyway, yes, yeah.
So once the press just trying to get a photo of you in your garden.
It could be, yeah.
Outfield News are flying over for a photo op.
Can't blame them, can we? Haven't been out in a while. Yes, so yeah, once that's done, yes, it's really important that you're registered on our book. So if you're looking for a house, please call us, please register with us, give us all your details, because at this point, we're going to send you that brochure. Once you're happy with the brochure, we're going to send those brochures out to people that are registered on our database. It's really key that you're on there. And our first point of call really, obviously, is going live, which is a really exciting moment for both you as the seller and also us. And this point, I must mention as well, because the first couple of weeks of marketing your home are really crucial. That's when it gets its most exposure. That's why it's important to get that price right. And we'll really dig deep on this on the valuation itself. But I think it's really key that once the property goes live, we monitor kind of how that's going. So on a week by week basis, we can tune into, I guess, the background of Rightmove and have a look how that property is performing. And we can produce what's called a property performance report, which we can send to you and keep you posted on how many views you're having. This first couple of weeks is really key. However, as a homeowner, you will probably click and look at your house on Rightmove a good 4,000 to 5,000 times. So you have to factor that in as well. But yeah, that's a really exciting day. You're going to see your home on the big screen. It's really exciting. So we get, you know, equally as excited as you. But that first point of call is sending out those brochures. We email them out, we send them by the post, we have hard copies as well. Once that's done, we then go through what we call a call out sheet. So we'll ring everyone that we know is looking for something like what you're selling. So again, going back to that, registering people and really tuning into what they want, we'll kind of know, you know, Michael have a list of his the buyers that he's regularly speaking to, as will I and Adrian and Danny as well. And we'll all kind of all of a sudden think, oh, that might suit, you know, this person, for example. So we'll give them a call, follow it up with, you know, that you need to come and have a look at this house. And then we get to the point where you're live on all the portals, as Mike says. You've been emailed out and sent out to all of our database of people that are looking. So you get, you know, we'll get a lot of new buyers that we might not have registered come through all those portals as well. So it's a really busy, manic time for us to kind of gather all that information. And then we build to your first viewing appointment. But we're not going to jump the gun on this because we've come to kind of the end-ish. I think the important thing, though, what Mike, I think, was coming to was after that going live section, I think, well, what I've got on my notepad is what next? So what to expect now? So you're live on the internet. You know you're getting some, you know, we're in touch, we book some viewings in, for example. But what happens with our relationship then? Are you going to see us as much? Are you going to speak to us as often? Yes, more, I think, is the important thing. So, Mike, I'll let you take this. I know you're really passionate about the kind of communication side of things.
Absolutely. So, again, a common misconception, I guess, is that we put you on the market and that's it. You will never hear from us ever again, and you'll just deal with some other negotiator and that's it. That's not the case here. We all get involved. So once we've got you on the market, if I've come and taken you on, for example, Jack, Danny and Adrian will all come out and see the property. So you know them, they know you, they know the property. We will never be reading off a script. We will be talking to the house, about your property off of memory, having seen it. And that's really important. I've been through so many viewings when I was looking where the agents clearly had never been to the house. They were opening up the airing cupboard and thinking it was a bedroom. It was just incredibly embarrassing. So we are very, very find it really, unfortunately, that's a true story. We find it really important to actually come and get to know your house, and you get to know our agents who are going to be working. We're a small team at Roland Gorringe, but that works really well. Communication, as Jack was saying there, real key. So you're live, you're on the internet. We're not just going to let Rightmove do its job. We're going to start talking to people. We're going to start booking viewings. But also every single Monday, without fail, either by email or phone, we're going to make contact with you. We're going to tell you what we've been up to, how we're getting on, what people are saying. And then comes the point of actually viewing. We'll come and do all your viewings for you. We like to chuck you out of your home because we feel people will be a bit more honest. We'll give you feedback on the day. We'll get back from that viewing. If the viewing's at 3 o'clock, we'll get back at 3:30, 4:45, 4 o'clock, give you a call and go, tell you how we think it went, what people like about the house, what people don't. Again, we believe in being really honest. We're not going to sort of, flatter you and keep telling you that they loved it and what have you, but they're not going to buy it. We're going to tell you why they're not buying if they're not. Because if it's something we can change, we can work on it. It's really important to stay flexible and stay adaptable and keep moving with that so that we find you a buyer. That's the most important thing at the end of the day. And we know all the little tricks and things we can change. So whilst you may think we just shove it on Rightmove and then forget about you, there's a lot going on in the background. A lot of marketing work through social media, through the major portals, but actually just us doing good old-fashioned estate agency and picking up the phone and talking to people. And then hopefully from one of your viewings and from the feedback, we get to offer stage, and then we go through the sales progression stage, which we spoke about last week on the last episode. So we won't go over that too much again. But I guess from me, it's really important before we sort of wrap up, it's just to say, from that first moment when you meet us in the office and we book the appointment to that last moment where we do the completion and keys get handed over and we shake hands with you and in a lot of cases hug and cry a little bit, we are there for you at every single stage. Whenever you need us, we're on our emails all the time. We're on the phone. We're open from 8, close at 6, Monday to Saturday. We are there for you. So please come to us if you need us, but we'll always talk to you as well. We are there, as I said, every stage from selling your house. So it may be the most daunting thing you're about to embark on, but we understand that and we're here to help.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Mike's spot on there. Two reasons. I think firstly, the most important thing is actually walking through that office door or making that call, whatever's easier, and actually meeting us. So I think at that point, you'll really get a feel for who we are as people, all of us in the office. And that's a really key thing. But I think speaking, about Mike in particular here, as he says, the office hours are those office hours. But Mike, I know, will never, he'll speak to clients, and any clients watching this, he'll be up at 1 a.m. Like, it's not Mike's 24. Mike's on call, basically, at all times. No, but you can always reach us. And as I say, as Mike's just said, we develop really nice relationships with people, and we hope that we know that you'll be happy with our service. So bottom line is, if you're thinking of selling, come and speak to us at Roland Gorringe. It's really important. We really know our stuff, and everything we've said today. There's a lot that we've missed, I think, and Mike will agree. But we wanted to basically put this into a kind of bite-sized classroom episode of what to do when you're selling your home. But I think the important thing is have us out, let us sit down with you, talk to you face to face, and kind of run through that. And I'm sure you'll have confidence in us finding your buyer.
Absolutely. What are we doing episode 3, Jack?
I'm not sure, Mike. Have we discussed that yet, or have I forgotten?
Good chat. Good chat.
Do you know what?
No, we haven't. So
if we haven't, why don't we let everyone tell us?
You decide.
So, guys,
Yes.
you tell us what you want us to do for episode 3. If it can be property related, I'm not going to dance. I will dance, but it would be better if it was property related. The idea is a classroom. But yeah, please do let us know if there's something you want us to talk to. If we don't hear back from anyone, then Mike and I will probably go live on Instagram and just let you know we're going to do something probably early next week to let you know what we're doing. But hopefully, please do get involved. We want this to be interactive and for you guys to talk to us and tell us what you want to hear about. But there's tons more that we can bore you with. But it'd be nice if you guys kind of picked something out and said, look, tell us about this.
Absolutely. And I'd like to finish by saying thank you again for watching episode 2, Selling Your House. Any questions, mike@rolandgorringe.co.uk or jack@rolandgorringe.co.uk, and we will be able to do our best to answer any questions you have about selling your home and about the process.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Jack. See
No,
you next
you're
week.
welcome. See you next week. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.